Welcome to our Natural Habitat Adventures webinar, Costa Rica's Most Diverse Nature Adventures, presented by Alex Arias, and he is broadcasting today live from Costa Rica. Originally educated as a computer scientist, Alex's love for the outdoors eventually lured him into his current career as a professional naturalist guide. And since 1995, he has been introducing guests to the natural splendors of his homeland, Costa Rica, and has received certifications from the Costa Rica Tourism Institute and the National Institute of Biodiversity. And today, he's one of NatHab's top naturalist guides, as well as our Costa Rica photo expedition leader. And without a doubt, you're going to see some of his amazing photos today and just get a very wonderful overview on the diversity of Costa Rica. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to Alex. Alex, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us this afternoon here from Costa Rica. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I've been guiding trips for a long time in Costa Rica. I love my country. I was raised and born in Costa Rica, and I really, really love what I do. I always tell people that I take my job very seriously, but myself, not too much. For those who have traveled with me, know what I mean. I spent a lot of time exploring Costa Rica since I was a kid, hiking, biking, and kayaking, just creating a network of places and people that I like to show. So I always tell people that I'm a different expedition leader because what I like people to see Costa Rica, my country, through my eyes. I just want people to have a unique experience, a unique adventure about what really is Costa Rica. So let's talk about Costa Rica now. That's me, by the way, on the picture. Not too exciting, but this is Costa Rica. As you can see, we are really, really tiny country between the two Americas, North and South America. So Costa Rica is like a bridge. So we have species moving from South America going to North America, and also species going from north to south. We're very lucky because we have about 5% of the biodiversity in the world in this little tiny country. So why make us so special? I want you to take a look at this map. This is Costa Rica. As you can see, we have mountains from northwest to southeast, high elevation. So the weather is different in both the East Coast and the West Coast. So Costa Rica is being a global leader in ecotourism for many years already. And 1/3 of the country is protected by national parks and also by private reserves, which just makes, that number is growing. Every day is growing. People are realizing how important it is to preserve what we have. So more and more people are getting into conservation every day. So as you can see, we have from sea level all the way up to 12,000 feet above sea level. We have in the country the Caribbean lowlands, lush rainforests, Caribbean foothills. We go up to cloud forests and higher elevation to Paramo, which is about the tree lines. And also we go down on the other side on the west coast to the Pacific rainforests. And in the northwest part of Costa Rica, we have a completely different forest, which is what we call tropical dry forest. And I'm going to show you some pictures of all this biodiversity that we have in Costa Rica. Look at this picture. This is what we call tropical beaches. You go hiking there. This is in the South Pacific. We go there with one of our trips. You will be lucky if you see another person hiking in that beach every day, because we're trying to use all these very secluded hotels, secluded lodges, secret spots, secret places. Another beautiful place that show all the lush in the rainforest. This is a waterfall, again, into the Corcovado National Park. Tropical rivers. Look at this river. This is a river that would take people it's a good, really good place to have close encounters with wildlife. In a boat, you go along the river and you never know what you're gonna see. Another thing that we have in Costa Rica, amazing, incredible volcanoes. Our main trips to go to the volcanoes, but on our extensions, we take people to this volcano. This is Araran volcano in the north part of the country. Again, part of the biodiversity. Look at this. This is a little picture from Tortuguero. Tortuguero are canals in the east coast. It's lush rainforest, lots of wildlife. This is considered the little Amazon of Costa Rica. The only way to get there is by boat or by airplane. What else? Again, you change the scenery completely. This is a cloud forest. This is a picture from Monteverde, one of the places that we're visiting in one of our trips here in Costa Rica. And look at this, everything changed dramatically. This is the Paramo. This is high elevation. It's about 11,000 feet, about the tree lines. So beautiful place for photography. As you can see, Costa Rica, once again, is incredible, diverse. I always say, people, if you don't like the weather in Costa Rica, wait 5 minutes or drive 10. Not too many places in the world. You can so always tell people on this trip, for example, we are going to have our breakfast looking at the sunrise on the Caribbean. But this afternoon, we're going to have another coffee watching the sunset in the afternoon. Costa Rica itineraries. Let me introduce you the two itineraries, the two trips, the two adventures that we have in Costa Rica. Natural Jewels of Costa Rica. This is one of my favorite trips in Costa Rica. Why? Because the places that we visit, the places that we go, the places that we take people, all the wildlife that we see and all the experience that we're gonna live. So on this trip, we go to Tortuguero, which is in the, I already showed you some pictures of Tortuguero. This is on the Caribbean coast. From there, we go to Corcovado. Corcovado, it's, according to National Geographic, the most biological intense place on the planet. So on this trip, we travel from the jungle of the Canales in Tortuguero to the lush forest in Corcovado, and then up to the cloud forest in Monteverde, which is a little bit up here. It's important to know that for this specific departure, we have a special active walking departure. That means that we're gonna extend our walks. Normally, we do an activity in the morning and an activity in the afternoon, and then in the middle of the day, we have time to talk about photography, do little extra things, like, you know, we take time to get photos or to see other interesting things. So this is Tortuguero. For those who have been into Costa Rica, this is the main canal. This is where most people spend time. But we take people in a smaller boat to a smaller canal, to all kinds of wildlife. What can we see in Tortuguero? Oh my God, everything. You know, in an easy day, it's easy to see 20, 25 species of different birds, monkeys. In that picture where these two ladies are looking at, there's a little crocodile down in the water. So Tortuguero is famous for this because of the turtles. And twice a year this happens. Twice a year they catch a turtle and they put a device on top of the turtle and they can monitor that turtle for 3 months in the water. They don't hurt the turtle at all. So this is a way to learn the behavior of the turtles, where they go, where they have been, where they go to nest, where do they feeding grounds, things like that. Again, we were lucky last year. I was with a group there, and we enjoyed this. They catch a turtle, and they show us what they were doing with that turtle. I love this picture. This picture was taken again in Tortuguero. This is white-faced Capuchin Monkeys. I call that picture 3 generations. See, grandpa, dad, and the youngster. Love that picture. This is another thing that I love these trips. You know, we have plenty of opportunities to get pictures like this. Every morning, you know, we offer optional walks or optional photo sessions just to do something before our main activity. This is flying monkeys. This is another type of monkeys. Remember, in Costa Rica, we have 4 different species of monkeys. We have white-faced monkeys, we have howler monkeys. This flying monkey, this is the spider monkey. And we also have in Costa Rica the squirrel monkey, which is a little smaller, but they live in the South Pacific. We also have a chance to see the squirrel monkeys on this trip. So, see. This is what we call a wet landing. You know, we're trying to take people to very secluded eco lodges away from all the crowds and everything. So, in order to get to these places, it's not easy. We have very nice accommodations, but to get there, we have to take a boat, and this is what we call a wet landing. This is the entrance to Casa Corcovado, which is one of the hotels that we use in Corcovado. What I like from this hotel is right at the entrance of the national park. There's nothing between you and your room and the lodge of the rainforest in Corcovado. Wow, another picture that I like, macaws. You can be sitting, looking at the sunset, and out of nowhere, you have 10, 20 Scarlet Macaws flying right in front of your view. So you can get these kind of pictures there. What about this one? A puma. What can I say about this picture? No, it's borderless. You cannot say anything. I was hiking with a group, and we saw the track of this puma on the beach. So we started following the tracks. We went into the forest. There it was, a beautiful puma. I remember some of the guests, they were telling me, Alex, I didn't know if I should take the picture of the puma or the picture of you, because they told me that I was like a kid watching that puma. That was not my first time to see a puma, but oh my gosh, you know, every time you have the opportunity to see a cat like this and that close, you know, it's hard to explain that. That's what we call pura vida in Costa Rica. Let's see another picture here. What about this one? This is tapirs. Hard to see anywhere else in the country, but in Corcovado, you may have a chance to see this. The picture, it looks a little bluish because it was very early in the morning, so the light was not perfect. Again, I love nature, I love to show everything, and I really like people to help with their pictures. And as a photographer, I always tell people, I want you to get the picture that you want. Another thing that people ask me all the time, Alex, what's the best camera? What should I buy? And I tell people, the best camera in the world is the one that you have. All you have to do is learn how to get the best out of that camera. And everything is going to be fine right from there. Here is a beautiful toucan. This is the yellow-throated toucan. It's hard to catch that moment of that bearing on there. You know? All these are pictures from Corcovado. Once we leave Corcovado and we go to higher elevation, we are going to see something like this. This is the bell bird, which is in the Cotinga family. And this bird is endemic to Central America. The picture is not the best picture because this picture was taken with a phone, and I was taken through a spotting scope. So this is what we call digiscopy. So that means people will have a chance, even if you don't have a camera, you don't have to bring a camera. All our guys, all the expedition leaders here in Costa Rica, we all have spotting scopes, and we have a lot of experience taking pictures through the scope. And all of us really have a good time, and we can teach you how to get pictures through the scope, which is actually part of the very entertaining and part of the adventure. Of course, when we travel to Costa Rica, people travel to Costa Rica. This is one of the more represented species of Costa Rica. This is the Resplendent Quetzal. Everybody wants to see a Quetzal. You know, every time when we start a trip, people ask me, are we going to see a Quetzal? Are we going to see a Quetzal? And we don't want to promise anything. I tell people we may see, and we're trying to do our best. I always tell people we know people because we, as expedition leaders, we have a network in Costa Rica. So when we go to travel to places, we have contacts, and we always get in contact with somebody, and somebody will tell us where are the best chances to see a Quetzal, where's the hot spot that we can go and see a Quetzal. So that's some of the species that we can see on this trip. But let me talk about the other trips that we have in Costa Rica. This one, the Costa Rica Wilderness Explorer. This trip is a little different because we go to different places. Like for example, we go to a little place down here at the very bottom of Costa Rica, Tisquita Jungle Lodge, which is an eco lodge. This is away from the big beach resorts and commercial hotels. This is a way to see the another side of Costa Rica, more to the adventures of the rainforest. Tisquita Lodge, I have been traveling to that place for maybe 25 years. And I know the family who owned that lodge, Peter and Lisbeth. They started that place from nothing. He bought a place, and they probably, Peter, plant every single tree in that area. It's a great place to see sloths, monkeys, Scarlet Macaws, what else? Great-eyed tree frogs, macaws, you mentioned. They have everything, and it's away from everything. Another thing that I really like from there, they have about 800 acres. And you can spend the whole day into that forest, that facility, and see one single person. So we have the whole forest, the whole lodge, the whole trail just for us. So again, great chances for long hikes, great chances for photography. And another place from there, we moved to Ballena National Park, and also to the Sierpe River. And from there we go to Cerro de la Muerte, which is a cloud forest. And also we touch a little bit of the Paramo. So we see the lowlands, and then we see the Paramo. Let's see some of the pictures that we can take there, and some of the animals that we can see on this other trip. These are Scarlet Macaws. Again, we have chances to get there on flight. I love that picture. I love the contrast of the pictures, on coconuts at the end, the ocean, the lush, the rainforest. Look at this picture, howler monkeys. Every morning, you don't need a wake-up call in Tisquita, because every morning you are gonna get these howler monkeys almost knocking at your door. It's time to get up. They're very loud. And every morning they start about 4:30 in the morning. Besides howler monkeys in Tisquita, we have this one. This is the squirrel monkeys. Sometimes people call this TT monkeys, but TT monkeys are a little smaller, and they're more in South America and Panama. So this is our squirrel monkey. Really easy to see in Tisquita. Another of the famous animals that we can see in Costa Rica is this. I think this is we call this the smiling animal. This is a three-toed sloth. Very easy, again, to see in Tisquita. I love these animals. They move so slow. It's like me in the morning. I need a little more coffee to wake up in the morning. So what others? You know, sometimes, you know, people came to Costa Rica to see wildlife. We have about 300 species of mammals in Costa Rica, but 950 species of birds. So this is a paradise for birders. This is a red-legged honey creeper. This picture was taken in Tisquita. All these pictures have been taken on these trips. You know, as guides, we don't really have time to get pictures because we're always trying to help people, you know, helping people to get pictures, or talking about things that we see. But once in a while, we have a time to just to get out the camera and get a couple shots. And all these shots come from those moments that we have a little time to get a picture. Another beautiful picture that I like, this is one of my favorite hummingbirds in Costa Rica. This is the fiery-throated hummingbird. It's a species that lives in the mountains of Cerro de la Muerte in the Talamanca mountain range in the cloud forest. What about this acorn woodpecker? I love trying to get pictures of this woodpecker. And you know, as I told you, we see lots of birds, but it's not everything about birding because we also have mammals in Costa Rica. Look at this one. This one is an olingo. This picture, I took this picture through the scope with my phone again in Monteverde. Remember, Monteverde is in the north, and this is a cloud forest. Look at this one, another Quetzal. This is from Monteverde. So this is the Elusive Quetzal. Sometimes it's hard to see a Quetzal in the wild, but as I told you, we're trying to do our best to find a Quetzal. As I told you before, we know people, so we have a little network, we have contacts. We're always trying to find out with a hotspot to see all these animals. The Quetzal is probably, for any birders, is a must to see, even for people that are not into birding. This is a very representative bird for any kind of people. This is the national bird from Guatemala. You can find Quetzals all the way from Mexico to Panama. But the one we have in Costa Rica is a subspecies of the Quetzal. A beautiful bird, probably one of my top 10 more beautiful birds in Costa Rica. What else besides traveling and see all this? So as a photographer, I try to bring great photo opportunities. So on all these trips, we have time, we have the place, and we have the experience to take people to get a shot that they're looking for. Again, these trips are not we're not teaching people. It's not like a photo workshop. It's just trips with opportunities to get pictures. Some of the pictures, again, that we can have on this trip is this one. A lot of people call this an ocelot because that's what people call them, but this is actually a margay. It's smaller than an ocelot. They have a longer tail. Beautiful cat. Macaws. These are macaws for the Caribbean side. Great green macaws. All you have to do is you have to be at the right place at the right time to get a shot like this. This picture was taken actually this year. I was with a photo group here in Costa Rica, and we went to this place to see macaws, and they were flying, they were having a party, the light was perfect, and everything was perfect to get this kind of shot. So again, look at this one. This is the yellow-eared toucan. It's the more elusive toucan in Costa Rica. I only seen like 3 my whole life. Again, last year I was with a group, and there it was. Perfect shot for the yellow-eared toucan. Look at this one, hummingbirds. This is from Cerro de la Muerte, again, in one of our trips. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different species of hummingbird in one shot. funny thing, sometimes people ask me, how did you get that picture? They move so fast. So, well, with a lot of patience. So what I tell people is, you have to spend time. You have to learn the behavior. You have to see what the hummingbirds are doing. I always say people, sometimes if you're into photography, you have to put your camera away and just sit and enjoy what you're seeing, because you don't know if you're going to see that again. That's what happened with hummingbirds. I tell people all the time, look what they're doing, because they're going to do the same thing over and over and over. So just relax, enjoy, take a really good look with your binoculars, and then trying to get the picture. In Costa Rica, you never know what you are going to see. You never know what you're going to find just driving alone. We were driving back to San Jose after our trip, and we found this family of quarimundis. Look at this. It was just perfect. This is a cloud forest. We're driving back to San Jose, and there were probably 20 or 30 of these quarimundis just on the side of the road. Of course, we get out and we just spend some time. They were posing, moving, screaming. Just another adventure. This is what we enjoy in Costa Rica. This is what happened anytime in Costa Rica. This is what I like this country. This is what I like to show people, Not driving. One of my favorite places also is, we go and hike in the forest, and the light's not perfect, and we can see lots of stuff. But look at this one. We're just walking on the gardens of the hotel, and there it was. It was a beautiful snake. This is the Eyelash Pound Pit Viper, and we probably spent 45 minutes taking this picture, so everybody got a chance to get the perfect picture of that beautiful snake. As I told you, we have an activity in the morning, an activity in the afternoon, but always we have optional activities early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Even we always offer night walks just around the hotels. They're amazing wildlife. Everything changed once it get dark. Look at this one. It was getting dark, but look at this. This is what most people wanted to see in Costa Rica, a famous red-eyed tree frog. How come you beat that opportunity to get a picture like that? Again, Costa Rica is so diverse that, we cannot tell people, what are we going to see? People ask, are we going to see this? Are we going to see that? As an expedition leader, we say, well, we may see that, or we may see this. We try to do our best just to show you as much as we can. Again, speaking of photo opportunities, look at this. This is white-faced monkeys right in the middle of a trail. This is for, I think that was last year, hiking with another group. So when you say Costa Rica, people, think about biodiversity, think about animals, birds, but it's the whole thing is an adventure. Again, I love showing Costa Rica, but besides all that wildlife in Costa Rica, there are other things that I really like from Costa Rica. And through all this year, as I told you before, we create a whole network of contacts on people. This is what I mean. And when I tell people, I want you to see Costa Rica through my eyes, this is what I mean. I want you to meet people. I want you to have a real experience. Real people, real experiences. You can see here this guy on the top left. This is my friend Cloyd. Cloyd is a native guy from the Caribbean, from Tortuguero. So he gave us what he calls a coconut tour, but he's really storytelling about how people used to live in Tortuguero, how ecotourism changed their life, and how people are doing their living now in Tortuguero. Again, my friend Salvador, the guy on the pink shirt, he's a farmer. I don't even call him. When I driving by with the group, I always stop at his farm, and we look for whatever he is in his farm. He's a producer of chayotes. He's so nice, and he's a real Costa Rican. Me, we're just another person, but these are people that I think is the real people. The guy with the bottle there, this is my friend Martin. He makes his living making blackberry wine up in the mountains of Cerro de la Muerte, and we stop at his house, Doña Silvia, on the top right. So they always prepare lunch for us. Why do we like these things? I remember years and years ago, I took a group to a really nice fancy restaurant one night, and the next day we went to a small little restaurant. So the guy on that group told me, Alex, the fruit from last night was really nice and fancy, but I can get that food anywhere else in the world. This food, this little tiny little restaurant, little soda, this is the only place that we can get that food. So that's a real experience. That's what I really like to show in Costa Rica. So I want people to have that experience as part of their adventure in Costa Rica. Another thing that I like, local community support. You know, we take ownerships of our trips, and there are all kinds of people out there. We have all kinds of the projects. This family, they start in a cattle ranch about 20 years ago, and with the idea of have a business exporting butterflies. So they were doing okay, but in order to have a butterfly garden, the more important thing besides the butterfly is the garden. So they create a garden in about 20 acres that they have, and 5 years later they realize they have a whole unique forest, a little eco lodge right in the middle of cattle ranches. So these are things that we like to support, local community support, all these sustainable projects that people start years ago, and they realize that they make a living out of that with companies like us. Again, every expedition leader from NAV, we are famous for these kind of things. These are secret surprises for nature lovers, unexpected experiences. We traveling around, and there's always something to see. So we have contacts in every single place that we travel, and we are always looking for something to surprise our travelers, something to have a little boom, a little wow, something that people are never going to forget. For example, this is from Tisquita Jungle Lodge. We were there, and I got a phone call from the guys who watched the beach, and they have these turtle nesting projects, and they called me, Alex, there are turtles hatching right now. So I tell them, wait, just give me 10 minutes. So I went to every single cabin and knocked at their door. Guys, we need to see this. So we went down. This is probably 5 in the morning, right at the beach. They were releasing about 50 sea turtles back into the ocean. So this is what makes us famous. This is what we really enjoy. Sometimes people ask me, where did you get your energy? From these moments when people want to see monkeys, or where people want to see a sloth, and we find a sloth for the first time. Gosh, that's where my energy comes from. When I see people looking at a sloth for the first time, when I see their eyes, when I see they're really having a good time, they really have a good experience. That's what makes me proud of the country. That's what makes me keep pushing me as a guy, keep pushing me to learn more and more about nature, about conservation, and that's what I'm trying to take more people into this. So this is what Costa Rica is. It's for me, it's hard to explain, but Costa Rica is, people have to come. We say something in Costa Rica, we'll say pura vida, and people ask me what pura vida means. So it's almost impossible. It's something that you have to come, you have to enjoy, you have to experience to understand what pura vida means in Costa Rica. So I always tell people in Costa Rica that if you don't behave, you can get in trouble. I love this picture. This is one of our clients a couple of years ago came here. I want to get this picture behind some walls there, but that's what we're trying to do in Costa Rica. Besides learn, besides have all this experience, enjoy all the wildlife. The more important thing is to have fun. This is part of the adventure, and I always have a really good time showing the country. And this is what I love. This is what I do, and this is where I want you to come and enjoy in Costa Rica. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure you have some questions. It's been a pleasure for me to talk about Costa Rica. But once again, you have to come so I can show you more. You have to come to Costa Rica so you can really experience all this beautiful wildlife that we have in Costa Rica, all this biodiversity that we have here waiting for you.
Well, Alex, this is Lee again. Thank you so much. That was just so interesting, and we've got a lot of people who are interested in having some questions answered, so I will jump right into that.
Yes, please.
We had our number one question today is, how many travelers will you be with? What is the group size?
Okay, as you know, if you travel before with us, we take small groups. In Costa Rica, we manage up to 10 people. It's easier. We have enough room. We guarantee one window per person. So we go up to 10 people in each group. It was easier. I don't like big crowds. I like to get to know every single traveler that goes along with me. So 10 people is the max that we use here in Costa Rica, at least.
Okay, thank you. And what about single travelers? Are there spaces in these trips that single travelers could join?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, we always have single travelers, and this is a very friendly country, and not having WWF is a very friendly company to travel solo.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Now, we have several people asking about the difficulty of the trails and how, if there are problems navigating them, if you have to be really fit.
No. Yes and no. Also depends. We have, as I told you, we have activity in the morning and activity in the afternoon, and we can fit this for almost every single person. If there's somebody that have a special need, we always we can have an extra guy just to go along with us, just in case. But all these trips are okay for any kind of person, so you don't have to really be fit. If you really want to go and push a little harder, we also have optional hikes after or in between activities. But also for the next season, we're going to have some specific departure for longer standard hikes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So for wildlife viewing, is it best to travel during the dry season or the rainy season?
This is Costa Rica. We can see wildlife all year round. Again, you never know what you're going to see. Sometimes you can see a lot in the morning or more in the afternoon. So the dry season, there's more birds, it's hotter, but all the migratory species are down here. In the rainy season, all the migratory species are back north or back south, depends where they're coming from. But again, we have very good chances to see wildlife in both seasons.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And what kind of land vehicles do you use?
Okay, for transportation, we use what we call coaster. This is a bus for 28 people, but we only put 10 people in those vehicles.
So that's pretty comfortable. I guess everyone gets a window seat then.
Everybody gets a window seat, and we have a cooler all the time. But again, this is not like Africa. Animals will not come to the bus, do not come to the transportation. We're always doing a little hikes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that sounds great.
Another thing that we use, in depends on the trip, it's we use boats again. So when we are in Tortuguero, for example, or on the Sierpe River, so we use boats for 20 people, but we only put 10 people in those boats. Remember, all these are private trips. It's just us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's good. Thank you. So just to clarify, what months of the year are the rainy season, and then what months would be the dry season?
Okay, rainy season is also what we call green season, goes from May to November. December to April is the dry season in Costa Rica.
Okay. And then what about mosquitoes? There's several questions here about that.
Very, very good question. People are really worried about mosquitoes. You know, there are some places where we have mosquitoes because it is a forest, but it's not as bad as people think, you know. Of course, we always recommend to wear bug spray, but very, very few mosquitoes in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to stop there, and any unanswered questions, we can make sure we get some individual follow-up. But I will stop and just turn it back to you, Alex, in case there's anything else you would like to share with the audience before we say goodbye.
Okay. No, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to you guys for the opportunity. I love to talk about Costa Rica. I really love to share my country. I see a lot of people connected. It's been a pleasure for me, and I would love to see you down here in Costa Rica so you can experience what I have been talking about. And again, you know, thanks again.
Yes, and my thanks as well. We appreciate having everyone here, and if you came in after I mentioned it, we will make sure that everyone receives a copy of the replay, and we'll do our best to get it to you by about this time tomorrow, but at the latest, day after tomorrow. So do be on the lookout for that. So with that, we will say good day and conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you.
Okay, bye, everybody.